This is Bridget Manoga bringing you our 7:30 news bulletin, the top stories. Pope Francis urges Catholic faithful to look out for others this Advent. Parliament passes the revised 4.329 trillion kwacha budget with no revisions and further adjustments. Former governing DPP whitewashes Secretary General Jeffrey. And in other news, fourth DR Congo candidate backs ex-governor for president. We have these and many more. Stay with us. The Holy Father, Pope Francis, has emphasized the importance of vigilance at his Sunday Angelus, highlighting that it does not mean living in fear, but rather waiting in love anticipation of Jesus' arrival. In his catechesis for the first Sunday of Advent, Pope Francis focused on the theme of vigilance. We have a Vatican News report being read by Tandiwe Mzumara.
Pope Francis was referring to this Sunday's Gospel passage in which Jesus Christ issued a simple exhortation 3 times, keep watch. The Holy Father noted that the faithful sometimes think of this virtue as an attitude motivated by the fear of imminent punishment, but quickly assured then that this is certainly not the meaning of a Christian vigilance. The Holy Father then invited the faithful to plan to use Advent to share with their brothers and sisters in need, giving listening, time, concrete help. As he is currently recovering from an inflammation of the lungs, the Pope's catechesis was streamed live from the chapel at Casa Santa Marta, where he resides, and this was read by Bishop Paolo Braida, an official at the Vatican Secretariat of State.
The Association of Women in Religious Institutes of Malawi, AWIRIM, has been equipped on how the members can develop different policies for their operations. The workshop, which took place from Friday to Sunday in Lilongwe, brought together Mother Superiors from all congregations and heads of different institutions run by sisters. More in this report by Brenad Mansa.
In an interview, Group Village Head Ganya said it was exciting to see how SCORE ECD project has sharpened
policies are said to have been developed, and the meeting was majorly to highlight some of the areas that have been tackled and how the sisters can develop such policies on their own, and also to review them for smooth operations in their respective capacities. As guided by the advice-wise consultancy, the sisters have been equipped on how to make policies in finances, human resource, discipline, and safeguarding policies, among others. In an interview on the sidelines of the workshop, AWIRIM chairperson Sister Agnes Jonas said these policies will help them to do better in their apostolate, as they are another greatest pillar in the church's mission.
AWIRIM is composed of religious sisters in Malawi, and these sisters work in hospitals, they work in schools, they work in administration, they work in parishes in order to deepen up the Christian life of parishioners. So you can see that even in these hospitals, in these schools, there are people, either they need spiritual assistance or they need education in one way or the other. So we are really part and parcel of the church.
Sister Mary Malizeni, who is the Mother Superior of the Daughters of Wisdom in Malawi, says following their charism, which is reaching out to their wounded humanity in education and the health sectors, including pastoral and social work, the workshop will help them be good stewards in these aspects. She says the use of policies is vital because they help to unify the procedures that they follow in their work and helps them serve the people better.
We are lacking some of the aspects, that maybe the content that is supposed to be in the policies, and also maybe some congregations, they don't have even the policies, some of the policies. So this workshop, since we are looking at now the process from there, what is lacking, and bring them back home.
The workshop was made possible with support from the African Sisters Education Collaborative ASEC, which facilitates access to education for women religious in Africa. This is Bernard Manza for Luntha News in Lilongwe.
Parliament has today passed the revised budget without any major changes. The 4.329 trillion kwacha budget was presented by Finance Minister Simplex Chichola Banda 2 weeks back, and members of Parliament from both sides have been scrutinizing the presented budget in their deliberations. Jacqueline Saidi was at Parliament.
According to the Minister of Finance, Simplex Chichola Banda, today is a good day as the legislators, both from the government and opposition side, left politics aside and put their focus on the budget. Chichola Banda said although no major changes were made to the proposed budget, which has been approved, serious scrutiny by all the parliamentarians was there.
We did not receive much questions, and many of them, because basically honourable members were in agreement to what we proposed as revision to each and every part. So I'm very thankful for their support, and this has given me more energy to soldier on as we move towards rebuilding and recovering our economy.
In his remarks, MP for Mangochi Mankibe, Ralph Juma, said following the scrutinization of the budget in Parliament, the opposition side believe the numbers are in order.
Yeah, so basically it was easy for us to accept that the budget should be passed because this budget, the total amount has been increased by 500 billion. And we thought that that was a good thing, considering that there's devaluation. However, we were not very happy that a number of votes have had their ORT reduced, and this will mean that many offices are not going to operate freely, while they could not even achieve the programs and the projects that are lined up in the budget. So we believe ourselves that we should balance between allocation to the actual project and an allocation for the implementation of that project.
Though all the 57 votes were passed, there was some resistance on the Malawi Human Rights Commission vote as lawmakers objected the reduction of the vote from 2.059 billion kwacha to 1.952 billion kwacha. Meanwhile, the Finance Minister has noted that the Treasury will look at how best to address the issue so that the operations of the MHRC are not affected following the reduction. For Luntha Television News, this is Jacqueline Saidi.
The former governing Democratic Progressive Party DPP has whitewashed its Secretary General Griselda Jeffrey in what it calls lack of respect for the party's leadership. The party officials held a press briefing earlier today in Lilongwe, where they have trashed the remarks that Jeffrey made last week on calls for the party's National Governing Council meeting. Bernard Manza attended the presser.
During the last week's press briefing that DPP's Secretary General Griselda Jeffrey sanctioned, she announced that the party will hold its National Governing Council meeting on 6th December 2023 to, among other things, discuss as to when the party should convene a national elective conference. However, during today's press briefing in Lilongwe, the party's vice president for the Eastern region, Bright Msaka, who said was delegated by the party's president, Professor Peter Mutharika, said there is no such a meeting on 6th December, adding that what Jeffrey said did not have Mutharika's blessing, including that of the Central Executive Committee. Msaka says the party is ready to set a date for its National Elective Conference once their appeal on the 29th September judgment is heard. He said the court had set January as the month to hear the appeal that some officials filed against the judgment that the party should hold the convention within 90 days from 29th September 2023.
So the meeting which was called for 6th December for the NEC, Malawians should disregard that at the appropriate time when the Central Executive Committee meets, and is going to meet any time this week. Then from there, that's when we are going to know through the same Secretary General, because she is going to be the one to announce. So we are going to know the date of a properly constituted National Governing Council after the Central Executive Committee has met.
On whether the party is doing enough in providing checks and balances to Tonse Alliance administration, Bright Msaka says the party feels it is doing something, citing the press briefings that Mutharika leads once in a while, and also how opposition legislators are doing in critiquing government. However, Msaka says the party cannot resolve in organizing demonstrations, saying they want to protect the people and their properties while trying to bail them out through other means. This is Bernard Mwanza for Luntha News in Lilongwe.
You're still watching news on Luntha Television. We'll be back shortly.
Welcome to Share World University. Enroll with us for our January to June 2024 intake. We are accredited by the National Council of Higher Education in Che, and we offer undergraduate and postgraduate programs at an affordable cost. Entry requirements for undergraduate degrees are MSCE or IGSCE with 6 credits including mathematics and English, and for postgraduate, entry requirements include a bachelor's degree in a relevant field of work. We also offer professional diploma courses for ABMA, ABE, and ICAM, including the bridging course for those with 4 to 5 credits. The requirement for diploma courses is an MSCE. For inquiries, please call 0994 530 245 0993 723 578 0999 262 467 and 0881 843 141, or email us at registrar@shareworlduniversity.ac.mw or info@shareworlduniversity.ac.mw. Enroll with us today at Share World University. Sharing with others, culturally correct.
Welcome back, and thank you for sticking around. But if you have just joined us, let's take another look at our top stories. Pope Francis urges Catholic faithful to look out for others this Advent. Parliament passes the revised 4.329 trillion kwacha budget with no revisions and further adjustments. Former governing DPP whitewashes Secretary General Jeffrey. And in other news, fourth DR Congo candidate backs ex-governor for president. Moving on with our news, the cyber crimes perpetrators in the country will now have to think twice as Malawi Defense Force MDF has started implementing a systematic approach in combating various crimes with a specific cybercrime course introduced at its National Defense College. MDF Commander General Paul Valentino Piri says that previously such courses were being assessed outside the jurisdiction, which was a course 3. He made the remarks earlier today during a training MDF and MACRA are jointly conducting in Lilongwe, which was officially opened by Secretary for Defense Erika Maganga. More in this report.
According to Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Defense Erika Maganga, the country may not be at physical war, but cyber crimes are borderless and developing, putting the country in a position of being victims of the crimes if government executives will not be trained on the matter. Speaking after official opening of a first 10 days 3 courses training by National Defense College, which include cybersecurity, counter-resurgence and dispute resolution, Malawi Defense Force Commander General Dr. Paul Valentino Piri says the country's security remains to be MDF's core mandate and responsibility, and cyber being a security issue, the MDA's executives have to understand the national security issues.
The role of MDF is key to actual cyber security. We have already organized ourselves as part of SET, which is the Computer Emergency Response Team. Most of the cyber attacks that are happening have to be recorded, and is also, in a nutshell, a national security issue. Now, because it is a national security issue, we also have to understand MDF is the lead in terms of policing or maybe safeguarding the national interest, which actually translates to national security. So because of this, when we talk about cyber security, then we are actually the lead people and the custodians of the same. And for that reason, this is why we are actually advocating that this course be conducted, and also let other members from different MDS be accommodated so that they should understand the aspect of national security that actually involves issues that involve cybersecurity.
Head of Computer Emergency Response Team SET at MACRA, Christopher Banda, describes cyber crimes as serious, not only in Malawi and globally, singling ones where a number of people have been rendered victims.
Yes, cyber security issue is a very serious issue, not only in Malawi. It can come only in Malawi. It can come anywhere. So that's why there is need for collaboration locally with all stakeholders and also international stakeholders. Now, in terms of actual what happens on the ground, especially in Malawi, I think you might have noted issues of mobile money, which is a big problem, and also come issues of fake news. So it's a very big, apart from others again which are happening. So we can even if let's say some countries maybe they experience a lot of ransomware attack, we cannot say, wait, no, if our side here we are safe, then our friends maybe we need to work together.
The trainees are 70 in total, including those from police, immigration and prisons. They will undergo the 10 days of cyber and national security and counter-insurgence and conflict analysis and transformation before the Executive National Security course, which will come before the main 49 weeks course after June. For Luntha, this is Robert Edward.
The Center for Democracy and Economic Development Initiative, CDED, is demanding that Attorney General Thabo Chakaka should vacate a standing injunction which is restricting access to information on Salima Sugar Company Limited. Speaking during a press conference earlier today in Lilongwe, CDED Executive Director Sylvester Namiwa said that the demand is premised on the fact that Malawians have stakes in Salima Sugar Company and the right to access to information. More in this report by Charity Chiranga.
In his sentiments, Namiwa claims that the recent forensic audit commissioned by the Malawi government on Salima Sugar will cost Malawians close to 1 billion kwacha. Namiwa says there is need for Salima Sugar to provide detailed account to Malawians on the scope of audit work as well as any relevant document, evidence to justify the 263 million kwacha claim by the audit consults. CDED has also demanded an explanation from Salima Sugar former executive chairperson Cherish Petigri on why he accepted liability for an audit that was commissioned by government in exercise of its oversight law.
We demand the former executive chairperson Cherish Petigri to justify to Malawians why he decided to take responsibility to accept to pay for an audit that was sanctioned and commissioned by Malawi government in its role to provide oversight. That said, Malawians ought to know that politics and political party financing has reared its ugly face on Salima Sugar Company, a company that was, among many other things, was set to provide the much needed competition to the Ilovo-dominated sugar industry, where the locally manufactured product is sold 3 times the price cheaper as exported.
Public-private partnership venture Salima Sugar Limited continues to sell in water as the High Court of Malawi Commercial Division has frozen its bank accounts over 623 million kwacha debt. Charity Chilanga, Luntha Television, Lilongwe.
Authorities in Incheu district have uploaded the third phase of a school early childhood development ECD project, saying it is catalyst to development of the society and the communities at large. Group Village Headman Ganya in the northern part of the district made the remarks on Friday when officials from Association of Women Religious Institutes of Malawi, AWILIM, and Catholic Relief Services, CRS, visited his area to appreciate the progress remembered in the school ECD project. Hilbert Karanda was in Incheu.
In an interview, Group Village Head Ganya said it was exciting to see how SCORE ECD project has sharpened the families in the area. She said the project has induced the much-needed family education as thousands become aware of their roles in their respective families.
Ifeyo ngati mafumu udindo watu tukuonetsetsa kuti project imene iyo yufuna ifikire wina aliyese komo ndi komo kuti wina aliyese apindule ndi project imene. Kwakukulu kwambiri tikuona kwambiri kuti azimayi ndi project imene akhala nayo chidwi kwambiri chifukwa cha mmene project iyi ikuyendetsedwera chifukwa chonena kuti project iyi sikusankha munthu koma ikufikira wina aliyese amene ali wabanja.
In a separate interview, one of the participants, Atafe Baloni, said the project has changed her life to the betterment.
Ndikupezeka kuti ndinali ndi nkhawa yoti inali yovuta kwambiri mbali ya banja yanga. Pamene banja yanga linali lovuta kwambiri inapanga chiphokoso nthawi imene nkatha. Pamene nkatha banja yanga nali sokonezeka ndi wana. Ndiyo choka nthawi imene chakuona kuti mtendere sindimautani sindimaupezai. Pamene anangofika ngati gulu lili anabwera nthawi yake chakayithachi. Mbapeza kuti anabwera napo mpano ananifotokozera kuti anachani. Anatipangitsa makulu nde ndakhanga kuti ndakhana gulu lili limene liyararuza nkupezeka kuti ine ndakhana gulu limene lili kuchoka nthawi imene choka pene papo bwera panopa timakumana ndithu mabodza tiphunzitsa aona kuti khawadi zikukhala zorani zochepa.
On her part, Nchewu ECDisco project coordinator, Sister Florida Gundasi, said the initiative has provided a solution to the state of chaos and the families. Aurim, with technical support from CRIS and funding from Conrad and Hilton Foundation, is implementing the SCORE ECD project, targeting 7 Catholic sister congregations. These include Nsanje, Chikwawa, Zomba, Nchewu, Dedza, Nchisi, and Katabe. For Luntha News, in Nchewu, I'm Helbert Katanda.
And finally, elsewhere, a fourth candidate has dropped out of the presidential campaign in the Democratic Republic of Congo to support former governor and opposition candidate Moise Katumbi. With the withdrawal of Deli Sesanga, a lawyer and MP from Kasai Central Province, there are now 21 opposition candidates running for the top job. Tandiwe Mzumara reading a BBC report.
The 21 opposition candidates will be competing against the incumbent President Felix Tshisekedi, who is vying for a second term in office. Mr. Sesanga's withdrawal is seen as boosting opposition unity after former Prime Minister Matata Ponyo and 2 other candidates, Seth Kikuni and Frank Diongo, earlier endorsed Mr. Katumbi. He clarified that he decided in the spirit of national unity to combine their forces to support the candidacy of Moise Katumbi while calling for his supporters to vote for him. Campaigns for the elections started 2 weeks ago and will end on the 18th of December, 2 days before the 28th December elections. The campaign period has already witnessed deaths, with 6 killed in a stampede on Saturday at Mr. Tshisekedi's campaign rally in Bazangungu City in the west. Earlier on Tuesday, a supporter of Katumbi was killed at a rally amid clashes with supporters of the ruling party in the eastern Maniema province.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that BBC report read by Tandiwe Mzumara concludes our news bulletin. But before we go, another look at our top stories. Pope Francis urges Catholic faithful to look out for others this Advent. Parliament passes the revised 4.329 trillion kwacha budget with no revisions and further adjustments. Former governing DPP whitewashes Secretary General Jeffrey. And in other news, 4th DR Congo candidate backs ex-governor for president. That will be all from me, Bridget Mwanoga, and thank you for watching. Stay blessed.